I saw something here. I didn't mention it in the last video, but I just saw something here. It's not a big deal, but it's something that I want to make sure that I point out to my grandkids, my brothers and sisters in Kenya, and any other people that would be blessed by this information. Leviticus chapter 23, when it's talking, we're past the Passover, we're past unleavened bread. So for the first day, the seventh day is after that. So a couple things here. After those, and let me tell you why I'm so excited before I tell you. I know I do this thing. I'm excited because it shows to me, first of all, that I'm not crazy, and I say that figuratively, but also I'm serious about it, because what I've been looking for in the modern day church, I see it here. I see it. And it's not described this way as we're reading the Bible, we're studying the Bible. I study it a little bit different. I study it with the intent to understand the environment by which the text is being created. Not to memorize it, because I couldn't memorize it if I wanted to. But to absorb it, to absorb the methodology. The most frustrating part to me is when I do the ritual and I don't get a result. Because I know I'm no worse or no better than anyone else. And there are people getting results. So there is something to the Holy Convocation. There's something to the relationship between the tribes, or a tribe. Let's not even overcomplicate it. A tribe and, say, the priest. Now, again, this is all figurative back then, but today that would be a tribal leader or someone who heads their family, if you will, and community leadership, political leadership, social leadership, business leadership, whatever it is, as far as there is a responsibility for those who walk in or under kingdom principles and kingdom rule. There is a holy convocation. There is a setting apart, and it is based upon these principles. That's why some of the tribes have it right. The lineage of Malachi has it right. The Armenian families, who, on a side note, suffer so much to hold on to their belief system as they're fighting against those today. I'm talking about in the year 2023, who are trying to tear apart their belief system in the kingdom of God. Belief system in these laws. This is what holds the families, holds the kingdom together. These particular ways of operating, they're taken very lightly in most Christian communities. This is what I found. In Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 10, when we're talking about, It's right after the Passover, right after unleavened bread, and we're talking about first fruits. Now, I've heard this preached at churches before. First fruits. Bring your first fruits. But there's a purpose for it. And the purpose is one of acceptance, not one of adding value to the organization. And is meant to go directly to the priest. But the priest has an obligation. Verse 10, speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, when you come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest. So there is an obligation to the tribal leader, the tribe, to honor, and listen, not just God, but the priest, to honor the priest. To honor the priest. In Exodus chapter 29, verse 24, it says, and thou shalt put all in the hands of Aaron and in the hands of his sons, and shall wave them, a wave offering before the Lord. Now here's the interesting part. This is what I found. This is the part that I really liked. No, I'll get to that later. But this is the part that I found that I liked. The responsibility of the wave offering isn't for the person who gave to Aaron, it's to Aaron. It's Aaron and his sons who have the responsibility to wave. In verse 11 of Leviticus chapter 23, going back, I know I went to Exodus chapter 29, 24. Follow me. Now I'm back in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 11, and it says, and he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. On the morrow, which is Sunday, after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. Not on the Saturday, which is the Sabbath, the next day, for the purpose of accepting you. Now I know we have these words, these buzzwords like codependency and validation and that sort of thing. We're supposed to be validated, all of us, by all of us. It's interdependency. We're trying to get away from the convocation part. Feelings can be hurt when you have a convocation. Because everyone doesn't like everyone's personality. But if we're serious about the kingdom of God, the holy convocation is not optional. It's the glue that makes everything stick. We're used to hanging out with the people that we want to hang out with. I know I am. Guilty as charged. I don't do a whole bunch of hanging out. Reason why? Multiple. One reason why I don't is because I can feel things. And what I mean by feel things, it means that when I'm around people who don't want to be around me, I can tell. Now, I don't know why, but I've been like that since I was a kid. And for you conspiracy theorist type mindset people, this isn't paranoia. My mother was manic depressed, schizophrenic, paranoid, diagnosed. But what they really didn't tell her is that she was an empath. There were times when my mother, as a nurse, would go into a hospital and be able to sit in that hospital and she can feel people, and it would make her cry. And no one told her of her power. They rather diagnosed her incorrectly because she had no holy convocation. We have a habit of pushing people away because we're uncomfortable. I welcome them. I mean, I welcome them like in this space here, but I spend quite a bit of time around people who are outside of my comfort zone. In fact, I'll say it like this. There is no outside of my comfort zone when I'm welcoming them into the holy convocation to be accepted. To be accepted. There's a young lady, she doesn't realize, I mean, I say she's young, but she's about my age. She doesn't realize, but she always gives me kind of like a first fruit. She doesn't see it that way. She just thinks she's being nice. Totally outside of my comfort zone, in the area where I serve on a weekly basis. But I accept it and I offer her love in return. Now, I'm not doing it because I have to do it. I do it because and he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. No thanks, I don't want that. No problem. I remember giving this particular person, trying to give them a gift because I had no money. And I gave them a box of cufflinks at one point because it was all I had. It was all I had. And I gave this particular person a hat. And they looked at me like, I don't want it. They took it. I almost wanted to grab it back. Because I had not been accepted. I had not been accepted. See, leadership, whether it's the priest at the church or the tabernacle or the temple or the mosque, or you're the CEO, or you're the president, or you're the Senate, or you're a Senate member, you're the representative, or whatever leadership role you have, when people come to you to be validated and they're bringing their first fruits, in other words, first fruits. Because again, what I said to you was I was going to turn this old language into something that you can understand at least in the year 2023. The first fruits is when the children of Israel, in conjunction with their spiritual leadership to be accepted, bring the offering, the first fruit. First fruit part is the sheaf, or the. So you go to work and you go to work and you have this big lamb, And your first fruit isn't bringing somebody your whole harvest, it's bringing a sheaf, about 9 cups or 9 liters or something like that, of 4 cups. And they bring it to the, to the priest, and they burn it. They create a cake. But before they actually do the burnt offering part of it, they wave it before God in thanksgiving and say, and in acceptance of your offering, which is the first fruit. It's not the wave offering, it's the first fruit that becomes the wave offering for the priest. The priest takes the wave offering and wave it before the Lord. It is his portion given to the priest. The priest is to celebrate the person and accept them. We all have a responsibility. We're all part of this group of people. I wanted to read something else to you out of Exodus. And I know we're in Leviticus. I know. But it says in verse 35 of Exodus chapter 29, it says, "And thus shalt thou do." Well, it's not fair. That's not it. It says in 25, "And thou shalt receive them of their hands and burn upon the altar for a burnt offering, for a sweet savor before the Lord. It is an offering made by fire unto the Lord. And thou shalt take the breast of the ram of Aaron's consecration and wave it, a wave offering before the Lord, and it shall be thy part." In other words, I don't know. I'm not sure a way of expressing this. Let me show you the comparison in Leviticus. In verse 12, he says, "And ye shall offer," so that you see the consistency, "and ye shall offer that day when ye wave the sheaf and he lamb without blemish of the first year for a burnt offering unto the Lord, and the meat offering thereof 2/10 deals of fine flour, mingled with oil, and offering made by fire unto the Lord, a sweet savor, and the drink offering thereof." So I'm going to say it this way, and I hope it's received, because I not only want you to see the feast as it's religiously presented, and rightfully so by certain tribes, but I want you to see the power of it, the connectivity of it. The connectivity of it is that when someone brings you the offering, and you are thankful for it, and then you put it to use, and then you combine it with the lamb and the meat offering and the drink offering, you are sharing in the body and the blood of the sacrifices of the people. To not accept someone means that you do not welcome them into the holy convocation. It becomes about you. And that's where the breakdown begins in the modern day church.